starting a new pattern, and I'm gonna be really honest, I'm a little bit nervous about it. I'm gonna show it to you, but you know what, I'm just going outside of my comfort zone a little bit. This is one that, because it's double point needles, they're teeny tiny double points. We'll see. I'm gonna see how I do with it, and I'm gonna take you along this week. And also, if you're noticing my hair, I just got it done today, so that's why it actually looks good. So if you've seen me before, you're like, wait a minute, your hair looks really good today. That's just because somebody else did it. So I'm gonna show you the pattern now and what all's gonna go with it. I'm really excited and scared and excited and scared. So this is the pattern that I'm going to be working on. Look how adorable that little bunny rabbit is. It is a knitted pattern. I was so inspired by Susie Marie Knits. She was making these and they are so adorable. This is by JetKat, and I will link to that in the blog post. So if you want to find this pattern for yourself, this is knit on double points. Now, for some reason, I have misplaced my double points. I have no idea where I put them. So, but they're exactly like this, except for they're teeny, teeny, tiny. And I'm going to be using this wire for the little glasses. She actually has a part in the pattern, a little tutorial in the pattern for how to make the glasses. And you actually use these, well, we call them pipe cleaners, but I guess they're called chenille stems now. You put these in the arms and the legs. So I'm so excited because so you can bend them around. So I'm going to show you some of that when I get to it, and you use a very, very small yarn. So I'm having to substitute the yarn because here's the deal. I'm not gonna buy yarn. I have a ton of yarn and I wanna use what I have. So I think this is going to be an appropriate substitution, and I'm gonna find out. But I love the Debbie Bliss Baby Cashmerino, and I love it in these colors. This is like a navy. It's probably a little bit hard to see, but this is the acid yellow, and this is like the little ecru, I think it is. So I am not super confident when it comes to double points. I can do it, and especially teeny tiny double points. We're going to see how this goes. They are 2mm double points. So I'm going to take you along with me, and we will see how it goes. So I've actually gotten to the body part, and I'm going to be honest, I'm a little bit worried. So here is supposed to be the head. This is supposed to be the head right here already. I'm not sure how it's going to be big enough. I know these are really tiny, but I'm worried. So I'm just going to keep working on it. I'm not giving up yet, but I'm really having my doubts right now. So I was actually confused in the beginning, thinking that this part that I was working on was the head, and it is not. If I had taken the time and read the pattern like I should have, I would have realized that this is actually the bottom. So you work bottom up with this pattern. So it goes the bottom, this is the little body, and now I'm working on the head. Now, here are two challenges that I'm finding with this pattern. Number one is these teeny tiny double points. I am not proficient. I'm not great at double points. I can do them, but these are really, really tiny. These are the 2mm, and they're just super, super tiny. And these are like a cheap version that I bought at Hobby Lobby, and I will not do that again. I'm gonna order them from Amazon, like the Addy, because these literally, you can see on this one is bent. It's actually bent because when you're trying to decrease and things, it actually got bent. So I'm not going to do that again. I am going to buy the decent ones because I'm literally going to throw these away afterwards because they're really not, they're not sturdy enough to make toys with. And the other issue that I have is with the pattern. Although it is very well written, I would not consider this a beginner-friendly pattern. It is it is written in English, but it is definitely English as a second language. I think she is Russian or Ukrainian, and the pattern is beautiful. And if you are familiar with making toys and you've kind of done this before, then you're not going to have a huge problem with it, I promise you. But if you're a little unsure, then you might find it a bit confusing what she's asking you to do. So that would be the only thing that so far I have found that I'm kind of like, well, I could see why a beginner might have some issues with this, but I am really looking forward to finishing this. But you know, my little kitty is keeping me quite busy, so I have not worked on this as much as I had hoped I would. Really happy with how this little face turned out. I really think it turned out Super cute. It's very different than the faces that I normally embroider and do. One thing is that because I used the back of the eyes, and this is so tiny, he has a bit of a brow bone. So she does not recommend that in the pattern. She just uses glue, but I just felt really uncomfortable with that, and I wanted to put the backs on. So yeah, he has a bit of a brow bone, but I'm okay with that, but I do think he looks really cute. I wish that I had a size smaller in these eyes, but I didn't. So yeah, I think he looks really cute though. I also just pinned the ears on because when I make the hat, I want to make sure that the ear holes fit exactly where the ears go. So I'm going to determine that based on the hat. Also, there are some things in the pattern that she just assumes that you know. So I'm about to make one part and she just says to do a rib stitch. So there's little things like that that you are assumed to know. And that's okay, because that's, like I explained, I don't think this is a beginner friendly pattern. But if you kind of already know some of these things, you should be fine, especially if you have already knit toys. A lot of this will make sense. And there are a lot of great photos, and some of her patterns actually have videos, which I do not have the pattern that has a video, but I've got his little tail on, and I do think he is turning out absolutely adorable. But this one has made me a little bit stressed out because it's just really different than what I've done before, but he's so cute. Look at that little face. How cute is that? I could not be more pleased with how this little guy turned out. My boys say he looks like a bit of a hipster, and I could not agree more. I love his little glasses, and she actually has a tutorial in the pattern for how to do that. He's got the oversized palm in the back of his beanie. He's got his little scarf here, his little feet, and he is super cute. I'm obsessed. I'm gonna start making some more of these because there's just kind of limitless what you can do. So I just wanna quickly go through the pros and cons. I actually have this all listed in the blog post if you want to check that out, and the link is going to be in the description box below. So number one, this is a very detailed pattern. It is awesome. It's actually 34 pages long. The other thing is that it has detailed photos. I think there's something like 78 photos throughout the entire pattern, which is absolutely incredible. It has a large type, which I'm going to show you that it's got really, really large type, which I love that because, you know, I like to crochet and knit at night, and the last thing I want to do is have to squint and look at some teeny tiny pattern. But let me just say, one of the things that is the negative, I touched on it a little bit, is that it is absolutely English as a second language. So you kind of have to read between the lines in a few places. For example, she says in the pattern to take off. And what I figured out she meant is slip as if to knit. So there's just a couple of little things like that that are just a little bit different. And the other thing is that this pattern is $15. So to me, that's a little bit on the expensive side, but I learned a lot. I really think it turned out super cute, and I do think it's worth the $15. Now, do I wish I had paid $15? No, but I still think it is worth it because you can make them over and over and over again, and she has lots of ideas for how to make them look different, and I just think he turned out so cute. So here are the tools and the materials that I used to make little Hamilton bunny here. First of all, I really love my Knitter's Pride pom-pom maker. So you may have a way that you do it, but I really love this one. I have links to all of the materials that I actually used in the blog post, so you can find the link to that in the description box below. I also use this 16 gauge wire. So if you have wire at home already, I wouldn't go any thicker than this 16 gauge. I would go smaller, but there's no way I'd go any thicker because if so, it would have really not worked well for his glasses. Now I'm gonna get to this here in just a second, but these are what these are calling, I don't know, some kind of chenille stripes or something. I can't even remember what they're called, but we call these pipe cleaners. And I ended up not using them in the arms because I kind of liked how they looked flat. I just decided not to use them. Will I use them in the future? Probably, because I think it could be really fun, and she really goes into how you use these in the arms and the legs. This was the yarn that I used, the Debbie Bliss Baby Cashmerino. I think it worked really, really well. Now this is a different weight yarn than she recommends. It's a little heavier weight yarn. So I went up a size in my double point needles. So I used a 2mm double point needle. But I'm going to just be really honest. I disliked the Yarnology double points. I can't even tell you how much I disliked these. They bent. They look straight in here, but they are not straight. They are not worth the $4.49 that I didn't pay for that because I had my 40% off coupon. But no, don't buy these. Do not buy these. I'm going to order the Addy because these bent, and that kind of makes me upset. So these are the things that I used, obviously, besides, my regular stuffing and things like that, but and yarn needles. But these are the things that I used to make him, and I just think he turned out so cute. So much for stopping by the Le Petit Saint Crochet blog. I'm Elise, and this is our little rescue, Olive Francis. And I was planning on sharing all of that this week, and then I thought, no, she deserves an entire episode all to herself. She is absolutely precious, and my crochet room has actually turned into the kitten nursery now, and I'm not mad at that one bit. But I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you all very, very soon with Olive's story.